Did you elevate performance training on like a notebook in high school and be like, dude, I'm totally doing this?
My parents tried for my entire life to get me to think about what I want to do after football, and I never did, ever. I was like, backup plan, I don't need that. Like, I'm going to the NFL.
And so why football?
I have early memories of my father. He was home with me, and we would play football in our living room, like 3, 4, 5, and all I wanted to watch was NFL Network. That's the only thing that was on the TV. If I was down there by myself, NFL Network. That's all I wanted to do.
If you had to set like a mission statement for Elevate Performance Training, what's your mission statement for
I love that. Whatever you have, I want to take it athletically. I want to take it and maximize your genetic potential. I'm going to get everything of that out of you. Make your life as healthy and enjoyable as possible.
What are the top 2 to 3 things that people are doing wrong in their program? Everybody, welcome to another Hallows team podcast. It's been a hot minute, but sitting here with Alec Wyble-Meza, a local former NAU football player, turned business owner, and I'm excited to just talk about that whole journey and what you've gone. So, now the owner and operator of Elevate Performance Training.
Yes, sir.
Pretty exciting.
It is pretty
exciting. Did you ever think
really
that you were going to have, so let's just dive right into this, Alec.
Let's go.
Did you elevate the performance training on like a notebook in high school and be like, dude, I'm totally doing this?
No, my parents tried for my entire life to get me to think about what I want to do after football, and I never did, ever. I was like, backup plan, I don't need that. Like, I'm going to the NFL. Like, no backup plan. I'm not thinking about anything.
Yeah.
I did help and volunteered at a lot of camps in high school.
Yeah.
And while I was in college, when I was at BYU and NAU, I'd come back home and help at local camps in my hometown, Castro Grande.
Yeah.
And I'd coach athletes, and I had people be like, dude, you should like really think about doing this. And I was like, and I just brushed it off. I didn't take it serious.
Yeah.
And then halfway through my senior year at NAU, I was like, ooh, I'm not going to the NFL. Like, I need to really think about what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to, what am I going to do the rest of my life? So that really got me thinking.
Yeah. And so from that, so let's maybe back up a little bit in the story. So you went, where did you grow up at?
Castro Grande, Arizona.
Castro Grande, Arizona.
Small town in between Phoenix and Tucson.
So local boy here.
Oh, yeah.
I knew that. And so Castro Grande, and then went from high school football. And what position were you playing in high
school?
Running back in high school. Mm-hmm. And then you went up to BYU after that?
So from high school, I went to high school in Eloy, really small. I think my graduating class was like 50.
Yeah.
I think my graduating class was like 50 kids. Something. It was really small. And so I had really good film, but it didn't matter because the competition I played at wasn't really good.
Yeah.
So from there, I went to Scottsdale Community College. We were the Fighting Artichokes. Pretty amazing mascot. Yeah, pretty intimidating mascot. But we were good. And I had a good season there. And then from there, the BYU coach reached out to me on X, Twitter, and was just telling me, he's like, hey, like, you want to play football here? I was like, I would love to play football at BYU. Let's go.
Yeah.
So I was there for a little bit, and then my wife went to BYU as well. And then we ended up coming back. I transferred. We went to NAU to finish out my last 2 years.
Okay.
And that's what brought us to Flagstaff.
Okay. So, and then were you running back as well at BYU and then NAU?
Yep, running back the whole time. One of the only positions that I can play with my stature.
I love that. Yeah. No, I mean, my football career was not near. I played through high school and not nearly as exciting and as accomplished as yours. But I always made jokes of like my hand-eye coordination.
Oh yeah,
I was defense, right?
I
can hit behind.
Yeah, you like to hit.
I can hit something, but I can't. Like I can run into something, but I can't catch the ball. So yeah, let's play to our strengths. But
let's go. Heck
so
yeah.
I love that. So running back, and now. And so what, as far as then, I mean, let's kind of take a step back from that. Like, why football?
Why football? It's just the only thing I've ever wanted to do. I remember, I have early memories of my father. He was home with me, and we would play football in our living room. It's like 3, 4, 5, and all I wanted to watch was NFL Network. That's the only thing that was on the TV. If I was down there by myself, NFL Network. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I would tell my parents I was 4 or 5. I'm like, can I play football? Can I play football? They're like, no, you're not old enough yet. You can't play.
Yeah.
In our city, the age limit was 7. So I had a little bit. So they put me in T-ball to kind of hold me off for a little bit. But I only wanted to play football. And I just loved it. Like it's almost like something innate. Like that was all I wanted to do. And now I get to help teach that game to everybody. It's pretty great. So I'm still attached to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, but then also so football being that passion and find the like the excitement and passion and also competition, right? And that's where I think football is just amazing for as well. It's a good equalizer, right?
Oh yeah,
I always like to it's not a contact sport, it's a collision sport.
Oh right? Yeah, I love that. I like that.
Football is great, but then now with elevation performance training or elevate performance training, it's not just football though, right?
No, I train football players. I train a lot of soccer players. That's really fun to get into. I got baseball. We have some combat sports. We got wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and train a couple golfers. Get them strong in the weight room.
Okay,
that's pretty fun.
So let's talk through that then. Is this so it's in the vein of performance coaching, personal training, and that's what your degree is in, right? At NAU?
Nope, no? It sure is not. Okay, I was one of those stereotypical athletes. When I was at BYU, they're like, what degree do you want to pick? I was like, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. And so I started with sociology there. And then by the way my credits worked, transferring a couple times, I ended up getting interdisciplinary studies. So nothing absolutely related to this.
Gotcha. Just your experience.
Yeah, it was my experience. And then, so kind of when I hit that half point of my senior year, I was like, what am I going to do? I talked to my strength coach. She's amazing. And they did internships at NAU, high level coaches. So I got to learn from them. I go, hey, I would like to internship with you guys for 6 months. And that was hard. They put me to work 6 months for free. And I was with football, women's soccer, and women's basketball. Okay. So I got to see different sports and how they worked. Like, you don't train football players the same way as basketball players, obviously. And I got to see, like, the programming for that. I knew how to do everything, but I didn't know how to program. Like, why does this go here? This exercise here in this phase? Like, what are even phases? So I got to learn that in my 6 months. And then once football season ended and I was like, okay, I'm going to be a performance coach and a personal trainer. I spend my time educating myself now. And it's been great. Got some certifications and just kind of continuing to grow as I continue.
Yeah. So then taking that, like that background to it. So what do you, if you had to say like a mission statement for Elevate Performance Training, like what's your mission statement for
Elevate? I love that. Have fun. Number one, have fun, especially with the youth athletes. Yeah. Have fun and elevate your performance. And then for personal training, elevate your quality of life. So whatever you have, I want to take it athletically. I want to take it and maximize your genetic potential. I'm not saying I can make everyone run a 4.3 because not everybody has that. But whatever you have, I'm going to get everything of that out of you. And then in personal training, my mindset is just make your life as healthy and enjoyable as possible. Instead of, there's a lot of people, they like to make things harder than what it needs to be, in my opinion. Yeah. Like your life has to be miserable. You got to work out 6 days a week, 2 hours in the gym, eat nothing but fruits and vegetables, nothing good. And who wants to live like that? Nobody wants to live like that. Yeah. So I try to make it as easy and as simple as possible while being sustainable. Yeah.
Well, and so in this conversation is very much not like, this is not a conversation for like hey, if you're not, like, you got to find those willing to be helped. Mm-hmm. Right. For sure. So this isn't like hey, if you're just sitting as a couch potato, like here are 10 tips on like trying to do 15 minutes a day. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's a start for someone, but you're connecting with people more so they're like, hey, I'm doing something. I have the motivation. I just want to do it right. Is that kind of the right mindset?
Yeah. I work with both. I've trained people from, so I have such a wide range. I train people online, and some of them they're just getting started and they don't know what to do. They don't really want I don't really want a one-on-one person all up in my space. Yeah. So they're like, just tell me what to do. And like, okay, yeah, no problem. Then I have some people, they're like, I'm 45 and I haven't worked out since high school. I need help. My motivation's there and I'm ready to go. Please help me. Yeah. I need you there to whip my butt and be right there. And I'm all about that. I'm high energy, so I like doing that. Yeah. And then from the athlete side, it's just, I'm going to get everything out of you.
And what's the mix right now? Have you kind of seen as your business? And I love that you've gone out in such a world where so many people just like to say, okay, I'm going to go, Yeah. And there's nothing wrong. I'm not trying to hate. But like, punching a clock, going to be part of a program, or, to be able to say, hey, there's a need and I'm going to just start my own business and I'm going to create, like, fill a gap here where you see, because you have so many great relationships and connections that you've created in that, to where, what's the mix right now of like athletes and like youth athletes that you're working with versus like that more like adult or personal training type clientele?
Yeah, I would say right now is probably 70-30. I like it in that range. So
70% youth athletes?
Yeah, 70% youth athletes. And I have kids from all the way from elementary school. I have some 6 and 7-year-olds, and some of those kids are really, really good. It's pretty awesome. And middle schoolers and a lot of high schoolers. And then I've trained a couple athletes at some schools like ASU, NAU, Montana, my brother at Fort Lewis, he's a dog. So it's really a wide range from that aspect. So that's really cool. So it's 70-30 athletes to personal training, and it's really fun. I like it.
Yeah. And it's very interesting, and I kind of have my own opinions as well as we've seen, so maybe a little wandering directions here for you, Alec, that I think it's kind of interesting that we have seen kind of this trend of starting kids in things and getting them very serious in things like earlier and earlier. And there's pros and cons to that for sure. So what would you say? I'm curious to see from the personal training standpoint or athletic performance standpoint, like what are your focuses on an athlete from ages, like, I'm just going to give you some broad ideas, or you tell me if there's more specific breakouts, but like, athletes from like 6 to 12 to, 16, and then like 18 plus, right? Like how does your focus shift with those groups?
So I would say I break it up into 2 different parts. So from the gym and then on the field, 2 different parts. So on the field, my middle schoolers and elementary schoolers, training pretty much the same, teaching them how to run, gotta have proper mechanics, how to change direction, how to jump, how to land properly from that jump. When they're able to do that, it makes them such a better athlete without even touching any sort of sport technical thing, just
weights,
teaching them that. Not even weights yet, just getting them on that field and being able to do those things puts them at such an advantage. How to move side to side quickly, such a huge advantage. And when I go to these games and I watch these athletes, I'm like, this is amazing. Like, you're doing so good.
Yeah.
And they don't even realize that they're doing it. I'm like, we did that drill. Like, that is so cool for me to watch.
Yeah.
And then in the weight room, it's more of building them up from the ground up. Got to have a solid foundation before I like to train them as much as I can, as closely as I can to like a Division I college athlete, but just really watered down. And then from there, build it up. So I've had kids at the Coconino football team. Some of them have gone to play at schools in college, and they're telling me, they're like, dude, this is like really similar to what we do here. Like, it's pretty much the same thing. Every coach has their differences. There was an athlete at Coconino for the football team. He went to IMG Academy. They have super nice, amazing things. Great coaches, great facilities. It's beautiful. And he told me, he messaged me, he's like, dude, we do the same exact lifts. Like, it's all the same things.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's my goal. Try to build them up and make sure everything's as close to that high level as I can.
That's awesome. Well, and it's just funny hearing you say that, because I thought of one of my good friends growing up in high school football, and we always made fun of how he run. And I don't want to be rude. People are, sorry, everyone. That's what high school boys do. But his run wasn't forward. He didn't do it forward. He did this swim thing. Right? Yeah. I'm assuming that's not the best mechanics, right?
No, it's not.
And that's just what's funny to me is that, and not faulting any one individual, is like, as simple as you said that of learning to run, to jump, to, all these different mechanics. It also reminded me of have you ever sat in like a seminar and they do the like, raise your hand as high as you can?
Yeah.
And then like, okay, actually raise it higher. And you're actually able to, because you
go a little bit more.
You're like, oh, okay, I can, like, yeah. So it's kind of the same thing of like, okay, you kind of run or walk, you jump or do something that feels comfortable, and you maybe like figure it out in PE or in elementary gymnastics or whatever. And so it's just like, so you kind of figured this out. But if you actually spent some time learning what some proper mechanics are and then practicing those proper mechanics, it's probably a lot of diminishing returns, right? Of saying like, just going a little bit is going to teach you a long way, and like refining from there, sure, like you can get to that 430.
Exactly.
Eventually, but from here, like just a little bit of mechanics goes a long way, I bet.
It does go a long way, especially the younger you are too. Like when other kids are trying to figure out how do I move, these kids are sticking one foot in the ground and getting out instead of taking 5 steps to change direction. It's amazing. And then something you touched on, you're like, how serious do we take it? Mm-hmm. One thing for me that I like, that I think is unique to me, is I want kids to come to me, especially the youth athletes. I want them to come to me, and I don't want them to think of it as training. I want them to enjoy it and be like, I'm just hanging out with friends and we're going to play games. I try to get as much as I can through playing games as opposed to just like, we're serious, we're going to not have any fun, we're going to run hard, you're going to be exhausted. Like, you're going to be exhausted. We're going to work, but you're going to have no idea that you're working. There's a couple college coaches that I follow at different universities. And so when you're in college, they track how fast you run with miles per hour. Now, they call these catapult units. There's other brands too, but that's the main one. Yeah. So they track how many miles per hour you're running and how fast you can go. And they were saying that compared to having their athletes just free run, when they have their college athletes chase each other and play these different kind of chasing games, they get higher miles per hour rates.
Wow. Yeah.
So when I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, it's more fun that way. They're going to want to come back and they're going to associate training, working out with better feelings and more fun. And they're going to get even better that way. That's a no-brainer to me. So I try to make it as fun as I possibly can.
Yeah. That's always been, I don't know, I always like the aspect of like thinking like working out should be a form of play.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Right.
Love that. Yeah.
Like that you are just having fun. You're enjoying this. Like to me, it's a decompression. Right.
For sure.
But yeah, no, I absolutely love that. And then, and as far as like, now are you doing just, because I know you do teams, right? So you have some team type stuff going on, but you're doing like individual, like youth individuals and teams or groups. And like, is there kind of just people need to be in these teams and programs to be connected to you? Or are you like doing like open, like people can connect with you and otherwise, reach out, connect with services and things? How do you do that?
Yeah. So most of it is open. There are a couple teams and clubs that I work with. I work with Playmaker Football Academy. Those kids are outstanding. They're awesome. Super fun. Yeah. And then the Coconino football team and the Coconino baseball team. So I work with them. Those are their own separate team things. But for the most part, my day-to-day is lots of, hey, speed and agility today is at 4:30, and let's go get after it.
Cool.
And anybody in that elementary to high school age, you guys are welcome to come. I have some couple college athletes that go there as well. When my brother's in town, he comes and runs with the 6-year-olds, and it's pretty great. They all mess around together.
Yeah, I love that.
Got a couple kids who are trying to find what school they're going to. They're in college. They come to those groups, so it's kind of like it almost sounds like a big free-for-all. But we're all chasing the same qualities, trying to get faster, trying to change direction better, trying to play our sport better. So we all just attack that together.
Yeah. And do you do, so kind of fun question. I know as your business is growing, expanding here, do you find that you're coaching more male, female, or is there any differences there?
More male right now. I do have some females that I train, definitely more male. A lot of those more male in football and not as many females I would like. I would love to train more flag football. High school and middle school players. I think that is so fun.
It's this whole growing thing.
Oh, if I have daughters, I cannot wait to have them playing there.
My daughter so freaking loves it. Yeah. I had to get you in with Reese. So I had a question on that. Is just like I find, are there material differences in training guys versus girls?
I would say more psychologically different. Like if I have a group of girls, I talk to them the same, but it's just a little bit different. For example, the boys, they are so hard on each other, and they're like making fun of each other all the time, and they're always like giving each other a hard time. They're competing in a good way, but if it gets too much, I'm like, all right, guys, like we're getting better. Like I know you guys are all friends. Team. Yeah, exactly. Like come on, relax. The girls, they are the biggest. They hype each other up so much. It's really cool to see. If somebody's struggling, they're like, oh, you got it. Like come on, and the boys are kind of like, come on, dude, let's go. And it's like, well, this is crazy. Like,
gotcha. So yeah, from that group standpoint, that's very interesting. Yeah. No, we were absolutely like I don't, and that's just the hard part because some of that like team sports, like there's so many there's so many positives in it. But yes, we absolutely like you just destroy each other, and that makes you stronger. But
yeah. Right, trying to find that healthy balance of like, all right, dude, you're picking on this kid too much. Like, knock it off.
Yeah,
like,
enough's enough. Yeah,
enough. Come on, you guys are teammates. Make each other better.
Yeah,
make each other. Yeah, there's finding that balance.
Definitely.
Especially the older they get.
Well, and it's very interesting sport to sport as well, which is kind of fascinating because our kids have done a lot. I at this stage of life, I've selfishly got them involved in a lot of things that I'm super passionate about, which, so we're like on the ski slopes, the bikes, on the lake and that type of stuff and really loving those types of sports. But what we tend to find it's been fascinating for me to just see how communities, not just the guy-girl difference, but communities are different too.
For sure. Right? Definitely. Yeah. Like the soccer community and the football community, completely different.
Well, yeah.
Completely different.
Different parents, different mentality, different mindset. Still like a passion for the sport, and a passion for performance, but how they interact and how they carry out their sport, very different.
Yeah. The football players, way more aggressive, than like, I want to get at it. They're more, I've had even these 7-year-olds. I had, we were doing a drill and I saw a kid, I'll never forget this. I saw a kid turn behind him. Look, he saw a kid behind him, purposely slowed down and ran into him. And he thought it was great. And he was laughing. I was like, what are you doing? But the soccer players, they're way more like their footwork is pretty good, especially just random football player, random soccer player. And I say this as a football player, those soccer kids players' feet are really good. They move really well. And I'm like, wow, so interesting. And they're more finesse, they're more quick, they're more, it's like, it's really interesting to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, that is fascinating. So not that I'm like living this in nostalgia moments, but yeah, I remember like in football 3 days, and I saw this wrestling kid that I was like, oh yeah, let's go. And I was like, I have no idea the skill set. So there's different skill sets.
Oh yeah.
I got destroyed.
I saw that this morning. I was with some baseball players, and there's a kid who wrestled. He was on the baseball team, and they were like kind of messing with him. Yeah. And he picked him up, and I was like, and everybody was like, "Oh, okay."
Different skill set. Different skill set. Yeah. I was like, "Okay, no, I know my limits really fast now. Thank you." No, that's awesome. And yeah, as far as talk to me a little bit more about so the adult training. If you had to say, let's just make it fun here. Mm-hmm. What are the top? Let me throw this guesstimate. Me and Alec have not discussed this beforehand. What are the top 2 to 3 things that people are doing wrong in their program? Obviously, it's going to be very, there's not one size fits all issue.
For sure.
But what are some of the top issues that you see with like adult programming with people later in life? They're not, they're not training to compete at a super high level. Yeah. We were getting into a dangerous conversation on a double date with some good friends of ours talking about when women have peaked in life. and so it's like, don't go to that conversation with your spouse.
Nice.
But yeah, so as far as like, not saying that they peaked, they got plenty of great years ahead, but people that are not in like a competition type mindset, what are some of the top things that they do wrong in their programming?
I would say the first thing that comes to my mind, rep scheme. Like kind of not knowing how many reps to do. Like, I'm just going to show up and I'm going to do 3 sets of 10. Why are you doing 10 reps? Mm-hmm. What does 10 reps actually do for your body? How are we three sets for the certain exercise that you're doing? Is that enough time for us to properly progress? So you finish at like, oh, that was a good weight that I finished with. Like, that feels good. Is that enough? And so kind of not knowing, which is fair, because unless you like really study it and learn and someone teaches it to you, how would you know that?
Yeah.
I would say that. And I would say the rep range just depends on your goal and what you're trying to do. Do I want to grow muscle? Am I trying to get that muscle stronger, or do I want that muscle to move faster? That's another thing that I think the second biggest thing is, as people age, and for some people it hurts, but part of the reason that it hurts is nobody jumps and nobody runs anymore. Those explosive, like, and I'm talking sprinting, like most of us can jog and for a while. We don't do explosive movements as we age. And I don't remember, I saw some study a long time ago on Instagram, so I'm sure it's credible. And
I'll ask you about that in a second.
It was just saying how the amount of percentage of people that run after high school is something really low, like sprint after high school. And there was a trend going on, like, you've never seen your friends sprint before, and they would record their friends sprinting. I did that with my friends, actually. It was pretty great. Yeah. But like, not doing that will help your joints so much. It'll keep you younger. It'll help your quality of movement will be so much better if you incorporate more of those explosive movements. Now, if you haven't done that since high school and you're 40, I wouldn't just jump in and like, I'm going to go sprint 30 yards. Like your hamstrings might give out on you. But like progressing yourself up, like, I'm going to do a 5-yard sprint. I'm going to do a 10-yard sprint. Or, you know what, today I'm going to do 4 sets of 5. I'm just going to do jump squat and just land and kind of build up from there. Those are the 2 things that I see the most.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, and then also, do you find that there's a lot of people that have, because I mean, the algorithms know us and find us, right? And so it's like all of a sudden they're thinking, okay, I want to get more fit or something. And they start to, they said something to their wife and their phone listened to them, and all of a sudden they're getting these Instagram reels and things, and they get all these like, influencers and things.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How often, and I would go so far as to say, I'm not going to hate on all of that. Cause I think there's some good information out there.
For sure.
I'm just like, this might be on one of those platforms, and this is excellent information.
Heck yeah.
And so, so there's some good information, but how many times do you think people are applying the information, either getting the wrong information or applying the information incorrectly? Like thinking like, okay, I watched this, I'm going to apply that to me somehow, and I'm going to DIY this. I'm going to figure out. How many times would you run into that where people are like, hey, I heard this, Alec, or I want to try that, or this, whatever, do you know what I'm saying there?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I think one thing that I've seen a lot when I'm on Instagram and I've seen these influencers, and a lot of them don't even have any certifications. They don't really know what they're doing. They have a nice body and it looks good, and they do something. And so everyone's like, oh, that's what they did to get that body. Yeah. I'm going to do that, which I mean, kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, like what do most people want to do? They want to lose weight. And a lot of these people, they just have you doing nonstop dead end circuits. You're tired. Well, how much muscle did you really build? How much muscle did you burned a lot of calories? That's cool. And you're going to eat it back with a granola bar or 2 granola bars or a sandwich. You're going to eat that back really quickly. Whereas if you focus on building muscle and you really focus on, I'm going to focus on traditional strength training. I'm going to build muscle and I'm going to get those muscles stronger. It would be way better, but that's not necessarily the sexy thing. That's like, sounds simple. Like I'm going to strength train. I'm going to do 4 sets of 12, or I'm going to do 4 sets of 6 and really build muscle and get stronger, as opposed to I'm going to do this whole complex circuit that gets my heart rate going and makes me feel good. But what did I really do for my body actually?
Yeah. And knowing that, and it's very fascinating. And I'm not the expert, you're the expert, but really just understanding on, complex sounds scary to me sometimes. And when people are saying, hey, I'm doing all these crazy movements and things like, I'm all about so tell me if this is the right mantra that I tell my kids all the time is consistency over intensity.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And to say like, don't do something, whether we're out on the mountain bike or whether like live to ride tomorrow. Right. So don't do something that's going to burn you out mentally or pull a muscle or something. Because how great is that in a program to put yourself into where you cross that line of either enjoyment or safe, and put yourself in a situation of recovering from an injury or doing these things. That's like, no, that doesn't lead to, the destination you're trying to go to.
I have to do that with myself because when I was in college, I was strong. Like I'm squatting 500, I'm benching 335. I'm like, feel good.
Yeah.
And man, how quickly it left me. Like I'm still strong, but how quickly it left me. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so now I'm trying to find that balance because I do not want to get hurt. I was blessed.
Yeah.
I didn't get hurt at all in college when it would have gotten paid for, right? So I'm like, I'm going to pay for it now. I can't get hurt when I'm paying it for it now.
But also, I mean, to understand, I think, and it's important is people understand why, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of my friends that are, I have some good friends that have gone through like the process of becoming orthopedic surgeons, and we know a couple of good orthopedic surgeons ourselves, and they'll tell you how like, bench press, squats, like all these different things. That's like, okay. Yeah. And I'm of the mindset of like, that these are dangerous, right? That they're saying of like, oh, we see all these injuries or different things. And it's like, well, functionally in your day, how often, like that made sense when you need to push a lineman, a D end over, right? As a running back, like squatting, that has value in your life. But now it's like, okay, what do you need now?
For sure.
Right.
For sure. I need to be able to
What type of form do you need to be carrying around? How does that impact like all of the rest of your fitness?
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. I need to be able to be around. I want to be able to hang around, play with my kids, and be able to do everything without being winded, right? I want to be able to get up and down from the floor properly. Yeah. I train some older women, older men. They're in their 60s and 70s. Yeah, it's really interesting to see the difference in their age groups, the difference in their quality of lives if they have been strength training for some years before, as opposed to they just started. I used to really think I'm a little young. I used to think 40. I was like, 40's old. Now as I've gotten older, I'm like 50, 60, 70's old. And now I've gotten to a point where I'm like, it's not really like 70 can be old. I see some old 60-year-olds and they just didn't take care of themselves the right way. And I've seen some 80-year-olds, they move better and they have a higher quality of life than the 60-year-olds. So that was really eye-opening to me. I was like, oh, it really is just like how well you take care of yourself, how much you prioritize yourself. And it's hard to do, right? It's way easier said than done.
For sure, especially at different levels. And I think, you know, just anecdotally, a couple weeks ago, I had a funeral for my grandfather that was 100 years old.
Wow.
He turned 100 in January, and then he did pass away just last month. And one thing that people commonly said about him, or we knew about him, I actually, fortunately, grew up a couple streets over. So I grew up really close to him, and he was walking all the time. Right.
That's awesome.
And he bought a bicycle, I think when he was like 92. And everyone's like, oh, is this a good idea? But he was just like moving, right?
Yeah.
The guy was moving and, grew up on a farm type of stuff. So it was just like, movement was life. And literally for that guy.
Absolutely.
Right. It was, and he was sharp too. And so, I mean, again, I'm not a scientist, but, the physiological issue, connected to the mental.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It is. Absolutely.
Tight connections there.
I think if I remember right, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But if I remember right, I saw something that physical like strength training helps fight back a little bit against Alzheimer's. And I was like, holy cow, that's crazy. So that just kind of goes to show you a little bit of like how important that is and keeping that muscle on you and just moving. It's so important.
I love it. Well, you and I could probably talk all day about it, but no, I really appreciate you coming in and talking about Elevate Performance Training. Guys, I want to get Alec's name out there so the world knows and Flagstaff knows, hey, you got an awesome resource here, whether it's your kids team that you want to get some sessions in with or, getting you and the spouse or whatever, a little help here.
Oh, yeah.
Alec's all about it. So any other closing words there, Alec?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yep. You're the man. Thanks.